Will TikTok be banned in the United States in the next few months, in the next year? Will it ever be will it ever be banned? Jeff, tell me.
First of all, the thought makes me, it gives you that feeling in your stomach that makes me want to vomit.
Why?
And then I realize we've already gone through this. I think there's no way in hell. I do believe that the Facebooks and the Instagrams of the world are behind this.
Okay.
And no, I don't think it'll be banned. But it brings up a great point that we need to strategize and plan accordingly, because if you go all in on one platform, say TikTok, and the platform just vanishes one day, what do you do? And so that's the great reason to talk about this. And let me ask you: Do you think it will actually go away? You think it'll be banned?
I don't think so, but I mean, we've been wrong before, right? On certain things. And the thing is, look, you and I were reading this. This is September 15th, just a few days ago. The latest Senate hearings raises more questions about TikTok's future. We scroll down to this highlighted area. This is specifically by the Wall Street Journal. It says the Biden administration is ordering a panel that screens foreign investment for national security risk to heighten scrutiny of deals that may give China and other adversaries access to critical technologies, that's the key, or may endanger supply chains and personal data. You know what I hear is they're concerned, like you said, you told me, they're concerned about control. How much control can they actually maintain when a company's not even American or from the United States, right? And that I think is the main concern, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we went through this with the Trump administration. And I think it actually got I think it got close.
It did.
And then all of a sudden they found two American buyers essentially for a portion. Basically, they were going to divide TikTok, and there was going to be an American version of it, and it was going to be controlled by who was it? It was the big
Oracle here.
company out of Oracle.
Actually,
Yep, yep.
yeah, right here. It says for its part, TikTok says that it's still working with US authorities to
Mhm.
come up with a solution that'll satisfy all national security concerns. That includes, this is what you're talking about, moving all US user data to Oracle data centers in the US. But does that even mean that they maintain control still? Do they have access to other stuff? Or right, that's the main question.
I don't know that they'll ever have control, but I don't think they can. I don't think. Here's the thing. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when this was going down, TikTok wasn't a fraction of what it is today. And I actually think the backlash to losing an app like this would actually be very detrimental for whoever's pushing it and maintains the office of the president of the United States. I actually think, believe it or not, I think social media, as it already has impacted elections, as we think, I think this would have a very detrimental effect on the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, whoever's pushing this through. I think this is a facade. I think it is a power play. I think they'll get what they want, and I think we'll continue on.
Here's the reason
But
you're right.
what?
Here's the reason you're right.
Go on.
Look at that. It says 33% of US TikTok users say they regularly get their news on the app. That's up from 22%. You scroll down on this article just a little bit. I'm not even going to read, well, I will, but first I want to show you this graph just so you understand it. This graph is the year 2020, 2021, and 2022, 3 years. And then it shows you, well, 2.5 years. It shows you each social platform and where people regularly go to get their news. Every single platform has declined. You see Twitter, less people getting news. Facebook, significantly less people getting news. Reddit, less. YouTube, not too bad actually, right? Still maintained pretty even. Instagram went up a tiny little bit. That's a surprise. And then TikTok shot all the way up, and it's going to continue to grow. That to me is important to pay attention to, because now if they control the news that's being delivered, who's watching it? What's the age group? What is the news and media being delivered, right, Jeff? I mean, that's a concern
Well,
to me.
I mean, this is I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but when you actually think about when anybody else is sitting there thinking to themselves, well, that's just a bunch of idiots, because you should be going to CNBC and CNN. I'd be like, no, that's idiotic because it's clearly biased, and so that's why people are now going to social media for news because the news channels have become so biased, it's turned everybody off. So I don't know. It's
Well, some people say, well, it might be a trend, but look what Google thinks. Earlier this summer, a Google exec admitted that TikTok was eating into its core search business. Oh,
Mhm.
that's big, man.
very,
That's
very,
for Google to be like, wait a second, TikTok's becoming a search engine too?
yeah,
That's that to me. This is why we need to pay attention to TikTok, right? It's not always going to be where it is now. It's going to continue to grow a little bit, but eventually one day somebody's going to come through, knock it off. But for now, this is where we need to be, right? And
yeah.
people keep on fighting it. It's like, but it's Chinese. I'm like,
It's a clear and present leader. Well, but here's the thing. So let's go back to what I said in the very beginning, which is this is also why, and I'm a massive proponent of TikTok. It's the greatest platform. It's not the platform necessarily that I lean all the way into. I lean into all of them, but it goes back to what we say, and that is you should not be creating your content on these platforms. So if you are a TikToker and you love TikTok, you should not be creating your content in TikTok because if it does go away and gets banned, you lose all of that content. And so this is why there's two things you should be doing. A, you should be basically duplicating what you're doing on TikTok on Instagram, for example. They give you the Reels platform. And oh, by the way, you should also be putting it over to YouTube on YouTube Shorts. But you should not be creating your content in these apps. You shouldn't be doing it on Instagram. You shouldn't be doing it on YouTube. You should be doing it on your phone, editing it in an editing app, and then you should be uploading it to the various platforms. And that is a big reason why, although I don't think TikTok's going away and I'm not going to run from it, I think you need to think through how you're creating content because this is very important. This could happen. And this is not just Tristan, the government banning us. Think about all of the people, like our personal friends who've gotten hacked on Instagram and
yep,
lost their account. Like, this is why you can't lean into just one platform. You got to start with one, but then you've got to blossom out into multiple platforms so you have more than one strategy.
yeah, I agree, man. There's a question. You may want to clear this one up so that there's a clear understanding, Jeff. Tom, what's up, Tom? How you doing, buddy? TikTok. It says TikTok news objective? Question mark. It's controlled by the Chinese. They're going to put a lot of propaganda out there for Americans. Thought on that response?
I think that most of the news that we're actually talking about is being created by American users and it's not being controlled. And I, for one, I mean, you can actually go down my feed. And for example, and when I talk about news, I mean, I put out a post that went super viral and got thousands of comments about rules of the water. And I'm just going to use that as an example. And I was actually technically wrong in what I said, and I got
I
crucified.
remember that. That was
It also made me realize, though, that that's great content because it gets tons of engagement. And then it allowed me to do a follow-up video that also got tens of thousands of views. But that's the point. And I'm trust me, I don't have a direct line to China, and they're not telling me what to post. Uh, and
but look, to Tom's point, they can, if they wanted to, decide what shows up on whose feed, right?
yeah,
That's what he's referring to. So, yeah, this is what the United States is concerned about, Tom. So, last thing I want to show you guys, just so that there's clarity as to the amount of people watching the news on social, not just on TikTok, all social. Here it is. It's a report by PEW. It's Pew. You can look it up. Pew found that 31% of US adults report regularly getting their news from Facebook. 31% of US adults. Dude, this just shows how extremely relevant Facebook is in the United States, which is higher than 25% who get their news from YouTube. And then 14% who get it from Twitter, and then 13% who get it from Instagram. In fact, TikTok's fifth place with only 10% of US adults. That is important to understand because now you're looking at, well, damn, yeah, TikTok's on the way up with news, but you shouldn't just give Facebook away, or especially YouTube, right? or Instagram. It's pretty crazy. So pay attention. And to Jeff's point, which I think is the most important point to all of this, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Make sure that you diversify, because if you don't, and then you are kicked out of TikTok or it's banned or anything like that, you just go back to your phone and be like, oh yeah, I shot them all on my phone. I also have an Instagram, a YouTube, a Twitter, a Facebook, right? Great point, Jeff. Great point, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? You're going to end up finding niches on each one. You're going to end up growing differently on each one. And before you know it, you're going to be like Tristan and I, and your entire business strategy is going to revolve around social. So we don't just say this because we don't live it. And that's what I think. That's the biggest point here.
All right.
All right.
All right. One day we're going to get it right.
We totally screw that up. That's all right. All right. All right.
There you go. All right. Have a happy Tuesday. I should have started with that. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. See you, everybody.